Pascal.
Everything. There's some things that are going on right now in regards to what's going on in San Jose. And we do now have the identification and name of the actual shooter. And there's some other added information in this particular article that I found telling us a little bit more of what went down in this thing. And, like I say, the shootings, the situation with the shooting and everything is still absolutely terrible. I mean, we're now at this place where we are getting more and more mass shootings every single day, every single week. I heard on the news that there was literally this shooting counts the 16th shooting that has happened since Friday. I'm not kidding. This is how bad gun violence is getting out here. This is how bad it's getting out here in these streets. And it's absolutely horrendous, right? This whole situation has got to start slowing down. I know that we can't stop gun violence from actually happening, but it's got to at least start slowing down. And I don't think that's the only thing. That's the sad part of it all. I really don't think it's going to stop, y'all. I don't think it's going to slow down. I think we're going to stay at this, and this is going to be our normalcy for a good long while. And it's frustrating. It's very, very frustrating. But let's look at this article here, okay? They say pictured employee who shot 8 dead during union meeting. It was a union meeting at the light rail yard in San Jose before killing himself. Cops find explosive devices. We heard it in the live press briefing where they came in. Sheriff's Department came in, told us everything, said that they were still basically scanning the grounds looking for alleged explosive devices. But now they're saying they have found explosive devices in the building, and suspect's home. He set his own home on fire before he left to do this heinous act. All right. So this is the man's face right here. So at least 9 people are dead following a mass shooting at a California light rail yard. The county sheriff's office said today. The gunman, identified as Samuel Cassidy, opened fire a little before 7 a.m. local time during a shift change at the yard run by the Santa Clara Valley Transportation Authority near the city's main airport. The 8 victims were Valley Transportation Authority employees. Authorities did not release their names, and I don't blame them. They're probably still dealing with a bunch of stuff. And yes, Chris CCC, this is the shooter's face, and his name is Samuel Cassidy, y'all. Samuel Cassidy. Like I said, opened fire a little before 7 a.m. this morning, their time, Pacific Standard Time, during a shift change, killing 8 victims. Apparently, there's a bunch of other people that were injured during this shooting. Okay? Cassidy, who is actually 57 years old, also died in the shooting. So he apparently turned the gun on himself. This is what they're saying. He was a maintenance worker, is understood to have turned the gun on himself. It's understood that he had turned the gun on himself. Allegedly, this is all still alleged right now. Officials confirmed deputies did not exchange gunfire. Okay. He is also understood to have set fire to his own home before carrying out the rampage. Multiple weapons and ammunition are said to have been found there. So, Sheriff Spokesman Deputy Russell Davis said a bomb squad was searching the yard after at least 1 explosive device was found. At least 1. He offered no indication on a motive for the shooting. Santa Clara County Sheriff Lori Smith said victims were shot across 2 buildings. Davies said the shooting took place during a shift change, with both day and night workers present. So they were basically shifting from the graveyard shift to the morning shift. And I guess he was supposed to be there during the morning shift. I don't know. But maybe he thought that would be the most bodies, the most people, the most lives in one area at the same time, given the fact that he was an employee there. So he went in there during that time. He went in there during a peak time where there's a lot of human traffic going on. Okay. She said officers ran into the scene as shots were being fired. One employee's mother said earlier that the shooting occurred during a meeting of union members. 7 victims died at the scene. 2 patients were transferred to the Santa Clara Valley Medical Center, according to a spokesperson. One person was pronounced dead upon arrival, and the other one is still in critical condition. Cassidy's father, James Cassidy, 88, answered the phone to Daily Mail today and said, "I'm sorry, I don't know what he might have been going through." He told the Daily Beast, which is the article that I'm reading off of here, his son seemed completely himself before the shooting, adding, "He didn't talk about his job or politics. I just found out he was dead and his house was on fire and all of that a minute ago." The incident is the latest in a string of shootings this year. Like I said, this has been the 16th shooting since Friday. I'm not kidding. 16th shooting. A shooting that has to do any variation of gun violence happened 16 times since last Friday. Just put that in your pipe and smoke on it for a little bit, y'all. Let that marinate for a second. 16. You know, the amount of violence that is going on, and I know, I sound like a broken record, right? I'm tired of sounding like a broken record, right? But this is a situation that needs to be addressed. I keep wondering, when are we actually going to step forward and start figuring things out when it comes to gun violence? It is so easy for a disgruntled employee, a disgruntled ex-employee, someone who is having a bad day, someone who is having a mental breakdown, somebody who is just having suicidal thoughts, somebody who is angry about somebody is banging his girl, etc. It's so easy for someone to just pick up a gun and start blasting. Now, you got to remember, it hasn't been 16 mass shootings since Friday. 16 shootings of varying degrees of violence has happened since Friday. And we only in Wednesday, y'all. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. Now, as you see here, there are law enforcement that are doing their thing. Like I said, they had found at least one explosive device. Now, the question is, did he show up with the explosive devices and then start putting those things around as he was walking around shooting people? Or were these planted beforehand? That's the ongoing question that I'd like to know. And that's creepy. If you really think about it, that is really, really creepy. As you see, the bomb squad with their robots, you know what I'm saying, going, and they're literally scanning the entire Santa Clara Valley Transportation Authority, the entire grounds, to make sure that there aren't other bombs. Literally. And what's crazy to me is what the pop said. Like I said, he said, I don't know what he might have been going through. I don't know what he was going through. He seemed completely himself before the shooting. He didn't talk about his job or politics. I just found out he was dead and his house was on fire and all that a minute ago. Like, so seriously, this guy was to himself. He didn't say anything. This man right here. He didn't say anything. And then did this. And I guarantee you, he was probably the last person that you would ever expect to go in there and start shooting people. I guarantee you that. Because you know for a fact when everyone starts talking and they start saying, oh no, he was a quiet man. He was a very nice guy, blah, blah, blah. He really kept to himself, like his pop said. He kept to himself. So how you supposed to know? How are you supposed to bloody know? Right? Absolutely insane, guys. It comes down to, when are we going to officially know what do we have to do to sit down? What lengths do we have to go through to actually wake up our government officials, our higher officials, and figure out a better way of stopping this kind of violence from happening? And like I said, I know we can't stop everything. And this particular situation, I don't know if there would ever be a heads up. Would there ever be a telling sign if this was somebody who was to himself and he was quiet? How would we know? How would we know the telling signs? If he was somebody who was very quiet, you know, he was a quiet man and he kept to himself. Because that always seems to be the situation. And we can't sit there and profile every single person that keeps to themselves. You feel me? We can't do that. That's insane. So what are ways that we can do this? What are ways that we can prevent things like this from happening without making it feel like everybody's being profiled, for crying out loud? That's the question that needs to be asked. And that's the question that needs to be answered. And how the hell, this is the other part, how the hell did this man have explosive devices? How did he get explosive devices, y'all? That's insane. Were they easily obtainable? Did he go online? Did he just Google? Did he type in the thing and just Google it and find out some ways of making some homemade explosive devices? What was it? How did he have access to quote unquote explosive devices? At least one they found. I'm sure they found more, but they're not letting us know that yet. Inquiring minds would like to know. Because I feel like if somebody's going to be clickety-clacking, looking things up, I feel like that would throw up some red flags, right? Big brother who's watching everything that we do, wouldn't that throw up some red flags? And I know, like, you know, there's the double-edged sword of the big brother thing. You know what I'm saying? I get that part. I totally get that part. There is that part too, right? I'm fully with it. But it makes you wonder. It really, really makes you wonder.
Pascal, you are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild.